we were just listening to as she described what the problems were and the issues, exceedingly compelling, articulate, and I love that she said this goes beyond R. Kelly. This is a bigger issue about young black women, girls being raped. What are your thoughts about her position and the compelling arguments that she made?
I think she is so important, and this movement is so important. I think a lot of industries had their Me Too moments, but when you see, these young girls, they get mesmerized by these artists. They saw what happened with Aaliyah. They think that it can happen to them too, and they think that even if they're in this abusive relationship, it's something like the Beauty and the Beast, that they can love, if they love this man enough or do what he says or obey, then he'll turn into the prince that they want him to be. And so these women are brainwashed, and we have to admit what happened to them, and I love that. I love this movement. I think she's so impressive, and would like to hear more of that outside of this courthouse instead of the R. Kelly, free R. Kelly nonsense that is going on there now.
And I think that we still don't have enough of a shift. And I know this from being on the bench that too many people think a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 17-year-old can consent. So that if they're engaged in activities such as sexual activity, that, hey, that's their choice. They consented. They agreed to do it. Those young brains are not developed. They are vulnerable. And so I am never going to take the position that you can assume it was consensual and that we should just move on. And I think in this case, the state so far has really presented just one at a time, one more piece in the foundation against R. Kelly in this racketeering case.
Absolutely. And it's a lot more than, well, she told me that she was 18 or 19 years old. It doesn't matter. And he actually knows better. And a 17, a 15, a 16, a 17-year-old cannot consent. I think we're changing kind of the dialogue that we use with respect to rape cases and to sexual violence cases more and more now than we did in the past. We're not talking so much now about what she wore and that she might have asked for it or she was drunk or, some of these things. But, we still have a long way to go to get to that point where that is not part of the equation.
And what do you think you expect as the defense in this case? If you had a crystal ball that they can present to really say, I know he's taken the position that it was all consensual. He didn't do anything wrong.
I think it's that, and that by the time maybe some of these girls, told him that they weren't 18 at the time, they were now 18. So but he's kind of stuck with this. I love that they use the Mann Act and the Human Trafficking Act here, because it is going to make it very difficult, because he did transport a lot of these girls across state lines, and it does kind of seal the deal here in terms of what the conduct was. But it's that he didn't know that they were 18. I think the RICO is a little bit more problematic. The criminal enterprise, you'll have to see evidence about others within his organization and what they did. I think we're starting to get some of that now, according to Julia Janae's reporting, but we shall see.